So good morning, everybody. On our way back to Central Booking in Brooklyn. It is a nasty, rainy morning in New York City, and we continue to fight for justice in the effort to free Desiree Watford. What we know is that the dealership, Valley Honda in Stanton, has said very many different things to very many different people. We know that the general manager of that dealership, whose name is Scott, sent an email to Desiree's counsel indicating that he would not, that the car that Desiree had been loaned when her car broke down from the dealership was not stolen, and in fact, Desiree had the right to drive it. You can see that email copy here, in which Scott Simons, Valley Honda, indicates that he acknowledges the car is not considered stolen and that Desiree Watford has permission to drive the 2016 Subaru Crosstrek from New York to Valley Honda in Stanton, Virginia. Of course, that was a lie, because when Desiree Watford got behind the wheel of that car, the express permission of Mr. Simons, she was arrested. And in Brooklyn, there's no way you just get arrested driving down the street unless this is a conspiracy. So the Augusta County Sheriff's Department may have won a battle in locking up a young black woman that they don't want in their county, but that's not the war. And at Nexus, we're simply not going to allow a person to be treated this way, and we're not going to allow the law enforcement to be literally running people out of the county like it's 1950 in Mississippi. So we will fight the injustice, of course. We're on our way to Central Booking. In New York City, it's very interesting. In New York City, there's court basically all the time, right? So there's a judge sitting all the time. At 9 o'clock, the judge takes the bench in Brooklyn at Central Booking. That's where we're going. We have counsel going as well. We are going to try to convince the judge to not hold Desiree on what we consider a bogus warrant. And folks, we have to hold Valley Honda accountable. While the Augusta County Sheriff's Office has unclean hands, of course they do. They're simply unclean. The reality is that this dealership started this process, and whether the Sheriff's Office leaned on them to get this girl, or there were just incompetent people in the dealership that decided to do this, either way, a person's liberty is now in jeopardy if this judge doesn't release her, and it's a real uphill battle to get a judge in New York to release somebody on a Virginia warrant. But if this judge doesn't release her, she could sit in Rikers for weeks. And it doesn't make any sense that Augusta County taxpayers will ultimately foot the bill for incarcerating this young lady. No criminal history. She's a really cool person. She's not a dangerous criminal. She doesn't need to be arrested and detained. And quite frankly, she was just driving a car that Valley Honda told her she could drive. And not only did they tell her that she could drive it, they gave permission slip to her attorney as recently as yesterday for her to drive that car. And now she's incarcerated, and the dealership simply isn't doing anything about it. We will be gathering at the dealership today to protest this heinous act of injustice against a young woman of color. You know, we don't have enough people of color living in Augusta County, and now I know why. This is insanity. There was a comment made by one of the detectives in Augusta County that was pretty clear racial bias, and so this story has a lot of layers and a lot of levels, and at the end of the day, right now we're dealing with an innocent person sitting in jail at Central Booking in Brooklyn because a car dealership in Virginia lied, and that's simply not something that we can tolerate. So again, we'll gather to protest at Valley Honda in Stanton. If you care to join us, please send me a personal or private message. I'll give you details on when and where to meet. We simply won't let this injustice stand. I'll update you after court this morning. Again, keep Desiree Watford in your thoughts and prayers as we fight to get her released from this injustice. Thank you so much.